today we're going to talk about the lymphatics of the tongue. So first of all, I'm just going to go over what lymph is. The lymphatic system carries a substance called lymph. It's a fluid that accumulates in the empty space, what's called the interstitial space, between tissue structures. So if fluid leaks from, say, your capillary into the interstitial space, it becomes interstitial fluid, and this needs to be drained back into the venous system so that the body's tissue don't become overwhelmed. So lymph is collected in lymphatic vessels which carry it away from the tissue and return it to the bloodstream. These lymphatic vessels are scattered amongst the blood capillaries so that leakage of the blood capillaries can be absorbed into the lymphatic vessels. All lymph is transported back to either the right or left lymphatic duct. The left lymphatic duct is also called the thoracic duct. There, these ducts re-enter the bloodstream where either the jugular or subclavian vein join in the upper chest. This is called the venous angle. Most of the lymphatic drainage of the tongue follows the venous drainage, although this is not always the case. There are 4 common routes that the lymph takes from the tongue. Here I am dividing the tongue into different sections, which will help explain the way that the lymph drains. At the front of the tongue, the apex and the frenulum drain to what's called the submental lymph nodes. The medial section of the apex of the tongue drains bilaterally, which means it goes to the opposite side. Lymph from the right and left lateral parts of the body drains to the submandibular lymph nodes on the ipsilateral side. Ipsilateral just means the same side. Lymph from the medial part of the body of the tongue drains bilaterally and directly to the inferior deep cervical lymph nodes. And lymph from the root of the tongue drains bilaterally into the superior deep cervical lymph nodes. So the 3 groups of lymph nodes in the neck which are received from the tongue are the submental lymph nodes, the submandibular lymph nodes, and the deep cervical lymph nodes. The submental lymph nodes lie in the triangle between the anterior bellies of the digastric muscles, midway between the jaw and the hyoid bone. Usually there are 3 or 4 nodes. The submandibular lymph nodes are just beneath the body of the mandible, and they rest on the surface of the submandibular gland. It is also made up of about 3 or 4 nodes. Finally, the deep cervical lymph nodes lie in loose tissue of the neck next to the bigger vessels. The majority are under the sternocleidomastoid, which I've drawn in this picture. Some of the lower glands are just above the clavicle, such as the inferior deep cervical lymph nodes. Ultimately, all the lymph from the tongue drains to the deep cervical nodes and passes via the jugular venous trunks into the venous system. The lingual tonsils refer to the lymphoid nodules on the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. They are small mounds of lymphatic tissue found on each side of the posterior tongue. Along with the other tonsils, which are the palatine, tubal and pharyngeal tonsils, they create what is commonly called Waldeyer's ring, which is designed to be the first barrier of defence against infection. The tonsils contain lymphocytes which are activated when harmful bacteria are detected. I hope this video has been useful for you, and please do go and try some of the quizzes to see how much you've learnt.